DaNetta, the first thing I want you to do for people who don't know who you are, and I'm sure some people do and some people don't, but in like 2 minutes, just tell us who you are.
Okay. Hi, my name is DaNetta Simpson, and I'm from the Elijah Muhammad's family, the messenger from the Nation of Islam, and I'm also lifetime resident of the city of Detroit. I was born and raised, and I was educated in Detroit public schools, and I'm an East Sider.
Beautiful. So the first thing I want to ask you is, tell us why you want to be the next mayor of Detroit, especially at this critical time.
Because I have something to offer the citizens of the city of Detroit. It's like I'm a fresh piece of cloth for them, because they've been complaining, because they have felt that they have been left out. And I can bring that to reality.
When people look at Mayor Duggan, who's been in office for more than a decade now, when you talk to voters, what will make the difference between an election with you as mayor and what we've seen in Mayor Duggan's administration?
Well, I want to take the city to another level, and I wanted to keep my promises that I had in 2021. And those promises were neighborhoods, crime prevention, and protecting city assets. And some of the things he has done off my platform, but it's not his recipe, it's mine's. And mine's is that I want to come out with home owners insurance for deterioration, because most insurance companies don't cover that. Okay, like your gutters, your roofs and stuff, even though they have grant programs, but everybody is not eligible for a grant. And they have the city loan program too, that fix your porches, etc. But everybody, again, is not eligible for that. So they feel left out. So I feel like if we come up with city insurance, that would include everyone. No credit scores, no credit check, no income. Everyone will feel included. And that's a good way for Detroit to rebuild Detroit as we build in the city itself.
Detroit has seen its share of corruption with other administrations and other things going on in the city. What systems would you put in place to ensure Detroiters have transparency and the public trust?
Well, first thing from day one, if I take office, I will ensure the residents that there will be no corruption in my administration whatsoever.
Okay. Let's talk about education for a second, because you said you went to DPS schools, right, your whole life. I know the mayor is not in charge of DPS-CD, not in charge of charter schools, but how will you ensure families in the city of Detroit that if they send their kids to DPS-CD or charter schools, that their kids will get a good education in the city of Detroit?
Well, I wanted to let the people know I was educated in Detroit public schools, and I graduated 1 year early. And I knew back then we had the best quality of education. We had vocational education programs in the schools, and I also renamed the schools DPS Community District. So I will ensure that every child will have the equal education, and those that are lacking the ability to perform on a certain educational level, I would suggest more tutoring come. And also, wait a minute, it's one thought, I lost my thought. But with that being said, I have so many parents that come to me saying their children can't read, and they want to be able to have their children reading on a productive level. And I will make sure of that. And also, when the former mayor, Kwame Kilpatrick, was in office, I had suggested to him that he should control our schools. The mayors should have some input in the school education system.
Instead of just sort of partnering with the superintendent and the school board. Got it. How will you bridge the deep divide that exists between those who have been in the city of Detroit their whole lives and then the newcomers who are coming into the city of Detroit now?
Well, I will make the newcomers feel welcome, and I will make the old comers feel like hey, it's time for us to rise and shine. and we all can rise and shine together.
How will your administration ensure equity when it comes to city contracts, hiring, and services, especially when it comes to Black and brown communities?
I will be fair. I will see who can do the job, the best job, and give the services to the citizens and the quality of that. I will check the materials they're using and make sure that they're able to perform their occupational needs to serve the citizens of the city of Detroit.
What's your strategy to address gun violence, especially among our youth, because it just seems like our young people are still being gunned down in the city?
Yes. Well, I've been on gun control since day one, since 2005. And like I told you, I will not quit. And what I will curb gun violence for, I will make sure that they don't fall into the wrong hands of people at public places. And I even goes around asking certain business community people would they like to post a no gun sign in their stores and in bars where there's alcohol being sold. Because years ago, those were places where a number of gun violence has happened in the past. So I will continue to engage in crime prevention.
How will you bring jobs to the city of Detroit and ensure that Detroiters are actually the ones that are getting hired for these jobs?
Well, first of all, I will do a job fair. And second of all, I will create through my insurance company that I want to create with the city of Detroit, I will bring jobs that way. Hire contractors, hire inspectors to go out to their homes, because under that program, the city inspector is the one going to put the claim in for you.
Let's talk about Blight, because Mayor Duggan has done a lot with Blight. He's gotten rid of a lot of Blight in the city of Detroit, but there's more to do, especially in our neighborhoods. How will you take it to another level, especially with abandoned properties and basic city services in our neighborhoods in Detroit?
Well, back in 2017, I stood for cities. I stood for city ordinances. Okay, that's when I ran for council. I was suppress the ordinances. Secondly, I would enforce a blight task force to and also put green lights at areas where they continuously dumping at. Okay, and not only that, it's not so much of the outsiders coming in the city, it is the residents that's not controlling where they dumping their waste at. They're dumping them all over the city, etc., in the alleys, on the curbs when the bulk is not supposed to be picked up. So I will continue to suppress the ordinances.
What's your message to that single mom, that single dad living on the east side right now and believing that they can't pay their bills, they can't feed their kids, they can't even keep the lights on? If you had to give them a message, what would it be?
Well, what I would give a message to them, it would be that you have to take your career very serious. I know a job is not promised to anyone, but when it comes to being a parent, you have to be responsible, you have to plan, and you have to be able to stay on your job as long as you can, you know. And with that being an issue on the east side, there are jobs out here, but maybe not for everyone. So those that can't get the jobs, I would recommend them to take up trades, to open their own businesses, whatever, that would help you keep food on the table.
And lastly, with that same question, if you were looking in the camera and you were talking to that single mom or that single dad, what would you say to them?
I would say, hey, it's time for you to stand up and be more responsible, because at the end of the day, your family depends on you.
Final thoughts. If you could accomplish just one thing in your first year that would define your legacy, what would it be and why?
What would it be? To fix to fix the neighborhoods for the residents of the city of Detroit and to make them safe. Stop the killing, stop the violence, stop the drive-by shootings, all of that.
Anything else that you want to add?
Well, I want to add that I'm a lifetime resident. I have done a number of things in the community, and I will continue to help the community